right, so with these Game 7s being completed, the conference semifinals are officially done. But, I mean, these Game 7s were both crazy, like, super entertaining to watch. I watched both of them from start to finish, all the way through. And I can say, I mean, these were just amazing to watch. Even though I'm not a fan of any of these teams, I just, what these teams were able to put on a show, show everyone their talent. It was amazing. And, I mean, the teams that lost equally were matched. I mean, both these games were close, and I mean, they came up short. Nets and 76ers, now they were both the losers of these Game 7s. Both Game 7s were in the East, but all the teams played good. So let's get into it. Milwaukee Bucks and Nets. Now, this game was close down to the wire. There were many lead changes. There were not really much of a time when one team had a huge lead over the other. I mean, yeah, the Bucks did play pretty good in the third quarter. But this game did go to overtime, and I think the shot everyone was talking about was Kevin Durant hit a shot with the time winding down in regulation, and it was a 2 to tie it. But his foot was on the line of the three-point line. So if his foot is an inch, maybe even less than an inch behind that line, they win the game. Then we go to overtime where the Nets only scored 2 points, which, opposed to the 6 points the Bucks scored, just wasn't enough. And obviously, a result of that, they lost by 4, 115 to 111. Giannis Antetokounmpo played great. Played 50 minutes, more than a full game, pretty much, if you include overtime, right? Middleton played 52 minutes. 40 for Antetokounmpo, 23 for Middleton. The Nets, 53 minutes for KD. I mean, almost the whole game. Wait, that is the whole game. Yeah, because you have the overtime period. 48 points for KD. And, I mean, he played his heart out. He wanted this game. The whole Nets team did, but Kevin Durant specifically, because Kevin Durant is the heart and soul of the Nets. I mean, everyone else has gotten injured, and he's just there leading the squad by himself. I mean, Harden did play good. He played the whole game too, but 22 points for Harden isn't, career high numbers. So, the Nets did lose. I mean, I feel bad for them. They played great. I mean, they assembled this, super team. Injuries killed them. The inability to, have their bench shine in these series kind of, hurt them. And the Bucks, they're very deserving, but I think the Nets are equally as deserving. I think if they weren't injured, I think the Nets would have won. I think they would have won in maybe even 5 games, maybe 6, but it went into 7. The Bucks won, and yeah, this game was crazy. I mean, what a game from Antetokounmpo and Middleton. They clutched up at the end. That's the first one. Now, the second one was the Hawks and the 76ers. Obviously, the Hawks are the underdogs. I mean, who would have thought they'd win a Game 7 in the conference semifinals and go on to the conference finals? I mean, that's crazy. Props to the Hawks. What they've been able to do with Trae Young, and I mean, he had 21 points in a double-double, but Kevin Huerter was the main star in this game for the Hawks. But this game was also pretty close up until the end. The Hawks played really good at the end. They were able to, take advantage of fouls, and the 76ers didn't make some wise decisions. I mean, they, shot some shots that probably were questionable in terms of shot selection. Their leading scorer was Embiid, the MVP candidate. But Ben Simmons did not play that well. I mean, he passed well, but, for a starting guard, you should be playing a lot better. He only had 5 points, and I think a lot of people can agree that point guard is maybe not the best position for Ben Simmons going forward if he's going to try to win a championship. 24 for Tobias Harris, 16 for Seth Curry. As for the Hawks, obviously a great one for Huerter. Pretty decent game for Trae Young as well. And, I mean, they're just playing – the Hawks are playing at a really high level. Like I said, they won by 7, 103-96. But, I mean, this game really came down to free throw shooting for them. Kevin Huerter, he clutched up with free throws. Clint Capella played good. I mean, the Hawks just played good. So, yeah, now our matchups are set. We have the Suns versus the Clippers on the West. And we have the Hawks versus the Bucks. So let me know your guys' thoughts, and I'll see you in the next round.